I realized nobody was watching.
I can see your screen just fine. Yeah.
Okay, great. So guys, again, welcome to our Q&A webinar. This one's going to be pretty amazing, and I know we say that a lot, but there's really some incredible stuff happening that Brad and I are going to show you. Before we start any of that, we want to make sure that everyone understands that Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor, and all of the information that you're going to see in this presentation and webinar should only be used for informational and educational purposes. Okay, so we're going to be showing you, of course, Trade Ideas. One of the things that we had such positive feedback from Monday's session, the office hours that Jamie did. Brad, you and I are going to touch up a little bit on browsing and actually how that has so much to do with what we're about to bring out, which is artificial intelligence. It's really all about the AI right now, and of course, the way that you can get access to it even before it's out is through the trading room, where Barry really gives everybody not only a glimpse of it, but also kind of like a play-by-play on how he does it. So we got a lot of stuff to cover today, and of course we are also going to have the Q&A. So Brad, I'm going to minimize the presentation, and Scott, let me see if I can find my mouse here. And Scott will be back to talk about some of the offers that we have to help you take advantage of all of this. So, a couple of things. For those, there's so many of you who are subscribers, and we're grateful. And we want to tell you that our passion is not, again, merely about creating a tool and being a vendor. We really believe that we want to completely reshape financial technology. We believe that we're putting out some information. The way that we're putting out, this is the next generation of this type of data. And for the people that don't know, for the people that are new or kind of on the sidelines, you know, we're this service, and what really differentiates Trade Ideas from everybody else is that we collect the raw data, and then we process it, and through that processing we create new data points. It's called metadata, and that metadata is used all over our artificial intelligence engine, and the whole point is we're trying to give you, our customers, and ourselves, you know, the developers, the best statistical odds of success when we allocate capital. It's really about that. It's just about making money in the most consistent way possible. You know, and a lot of people beat down day trading because they say, oh, it's impossible to do, or, you know, it's so risky. But the funny thing is that, you know, let me pull this up real quick. Here's your day trading, not risk, you know, BOFI. And I'm only bringing this up because this happens to be a stock that I caught on the long side from like 26 to 90. So I did this is one of my better trades in a long time, and yet today this happened. It dropped from 140 to 99. That's overnight risk. You know, that's the risk of information coming out in ways that you don't expect it. And when you're actually in the market trading actively during the day and not holding positions overnight, these things are avoided. So there is an interesting risk counterpart to this whole thing if you could just be active and do it well. And this is what we are bringing to light. We're showing you the tools and the technology you need to allocate your capital efficiently and succeed trading in shorter time frames where there's incredible alpha opportunities. So, Brad, anything you want to?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that for the folks that are here that are not subscribers to Trade Ideas, I mean, just to take it up in the helicopter a little bit, we're a premier idea generation tool, and so as Dan was saying, we're looking to really shape, or reshape rather, technology in this particular space. But what we do right now, we're the best at what we do, and that's finding great trading opportunities in real time throughout the day. So I just wanted to make sure that that didn't go over the heads of some of the newer people that are joining us here for the first time.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like the name, Trade Ideas. We're all about finding opportunities that you probably wouldn't have found by yourself. But we're really trying to push the envelope on the technology here. And one of the things that we're going to be talking about is the Trade Ideas artificial intelligence engine. But before I do that, and before we show you like where we are with that and all the cool things about it, what I really want to talk about is, well, what do you do during market hours? Okay, how do you find market hours setups, and what is the most efficient way for you to do it? So Jamie Hodge, our Director of Education, Brad, on Monday, did a really good office hours where he talked about, you don't have to focus, even though we made Trade Ideas very easy to navigate, where you can go to a channel and, see different views on what's happening at a glance, and you didn't have to configure, any of that. It just all populates, right? You can really even look at it in a broader sense, and I really like how Jamie termed it, Brad. He was saying that we are a browser of market data, okay? But the most efficient way to browse is where it's like smart browsing, where it's trying to tell you, hey, take a look at this. This is something that you really need to be checking out, versus just looking at a word like trending. And the question is, how do you manipulate the data, Brad, to help the customer get to something faster than someone else? And I think this is really what we do the best, and the way that you can complement the artificial intelligence technology, okay, that's going to help you by giving you stocks ideas to literally trade from, is throughout the day while it's doing its thing, you are browsing, and you're browsing like this. You sort and resort column headers to get different view modes. So we have this customized field called efficiency. It's basically how efficient is your money in moving the stock higher. The less it takes to go higher, in essence, the better. That means there's no natural sellers. And I know it's a little counterintuitive to what everyone's been taught about, oh, you need tons of volume and all that stuff, but the market's so much more complicated than that, and it's past, the generalities long ago. There's interesting situations, and we instantly like to point that out to you, okay? So we sort this, and we see stocks, that all of a sudden, okay, start behaving in a very interesting way, okay? And this is what really separates the Trade Ideas view of the world from everything else, is that literally right to the front you get ushered into this situation where, well, not only can you take, because if you're looking at the percentage move from like the 40 cents to the 74 cents, you're talking about almost 100% return. So this is these are the things that we're hunting. We are not specific. We're beyond trying to say, oh, 10% is great, and 20. All of these, of course, any positive is positive, but there's really you should not be ignoring alpha, because alpha moves from place to place. It's never stationary, and Trade Ideas is the best at helping you steer you into that direction where alpha hides. So one of the other ways that alpha hides is through the percentage of float that's being traded. Okay, so this is another beautiful way where we help you visualize this information. So let's look at the stock chart of ZFGN. Okay, so SafeGen is kind of like that Bank of America, not Bank of America, Bank of Internet, BOFI situation, where obviously some terrible news is coming out, but a lot of times something may happen, and the turning point takes place. So here you have from an 11 to a 19 point potential move, and again, talk about engaged day trading or active investing. This is what we want to be trying to find, and this is what Trade Ideas helps you find, because it takes a lot to scale this percentage of flow traded. So here's a stock, guys, and ladies, that has a 22 million share float, and today's volume was 60% of it. You combine that with a relatively decent efficiency factor, and you've got some potential tomorrow for both volatility, but really possibly to the upside. Okay, and notice how these various things just pop right out at you. You're immediately drawn to, like, ADHD. Why? Well, here's why. It's acting in a very efficient manner. Like basically the whole move was to the upside. And you see, like I am surfing these different views, and I'm coming back to, and seeing it from a different perspective. So right away, the other thing that I'm doing here is I'm keying in on symbols that are kind of like you're creating your watch list. And Brad, one of the things that I had discussed in one of my previous presentations is that by doing this kind of browsing, what Trade Ideas is doing is it's visually teaching you to key off on what's really relevant. And I think like that's kind of gets a little understated, and that's why we say, it's important for you to click on these symbols. Look at it in terms of overall strength, and see how did that play out.
I mean, I think you're showing a real critical facet of the software, and that's really navigating and maneuvering around the top list window by clicking on the headers and resorting the data in a variety of ways. And when you have special data points, the derived data points that we've created, it really does bring really new symbols to light right to the top of your window.
And that is what it's about. It's that competitive advantage, right? Like, for example, dollar volume. So many people just ignore this critical component of momentum and how that plays into, well, what does it take, quote unquote, to make a stock move? I mean, that's a very important question you should be asking yourself, like as a chess move question. And here, ADHD, right? If you look at the day, I believe this is where we start today. I mean, basically, it went just up, right? So for it to go up, it takes about $773,000. So you can start to now understand, like, hey, if you saw maybe $3 million volume in ADHD, then something crazy was going on. And you can start to pick these things up to where you're all of a sudden reacting faster to it. And again, notice again, I'm going to resort now by relative volume, something that we've talked about forever, but just, relative volume is not exactly the same as percentage of volume, because notice 314 above 508. And I think, Brad, can you give everyone like an overview of, especially the new people, of relative volume and how it's different from percentage of today? It's a good Q&A.
So relative volume, in my opinion, it's I think one of our best filters. It's one of our best derived data points, because what it does, the real power is the real-time analysis. I mean, right now the market's closed and anybody can see based on the total volume something traded a lot more today. But the real power is that this knows at any given time what normal volume is for a stock, and this is a ratio. So that 47, that means it's trading 47 times normal volume. And again, when you're looking at this in real time during the market, these are the metrics that really do highlight stocks that are moving up or moving down, really.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think like it becomes so understated, Brad. Like, for example, these visual like position and ranges. Sometimes people don't know, or they don't realize that what they're staring at is basically a yearly chart. Quickly you can tell, this thing's not, weak, very strong. So like if I go to LG, and I look at the daily and I expand it even more, you can see that it's, I mean, just like we said, this thing is trending higher. So you can really continuously sort and resort the data, because the idea is that you don't know where alpha is going to move in terms of, is it going to be preferenced on like strength, like is strength going to be the continuation, or the reversal, the continuation? It really, that's the beauty of what our algorithms do, is they kind of help you understand not the market in a sense of, what I think is kind of just silly ways to look at it, like RSI numbers and MACD numbers. I mean, that to me kind of tells you more of a lot of nothing, whereas we're trying to key you in on like real supply and demand and efficiency. I mean, that's how I kind of like to view it, Brad.
Yeah, there's a whole other aspect of this window here that you haven't really touched on, and that's the color coding of it. I mean, really sophisticated gradient colors. And if you bring your eyes over to the relative volume column again, you know, it's highlighted that the numbers that are bigger are much darker green, and when a number gets below 1, which happens to be normal volume, it starts to turn a lighter color. And, you know, this really does allow you to focus on the stocks that do have significant volume.
It's the multi-dimensionalness of it, and I think what I really like with the way, you know, at least we're demonstrating this is, have you guys noticed that we are only looking at one window? I mean, think about that. You're looking at one window and you're deriving so much power. I mean, each one of these things is, it wants to offer you a bit of information if you're willing, you know, to perceive it. You know, the way that this comes out because it's bigger than all of this. You know, the way that these stand out because they're bigger than these. You know, you can quickly see the I mean, you don't have to. It's like the beauty is this, like, and I love doing this for myself too. But I can expand this, and I can tell you all like exactly what the stocks are doing. You know, this one is really strong. This one's attempting to bounce because it's up today, but it's on, you know, on 20-day lows. But, you know, on the 80th percentile for the year, so although this looks like a nice opportunity to buy. So let me pull that up real quick. Yeah. So here it is. I mean, it had that big gap up and pulled back, and, you know, this is, if this holds, you really could see another assault on the 7 area. I mean, Brad, one of the things that I like doing here on these Q&As is not simply just telling people, you know, like the technique of how to hammer a nail or something. I want to show them opportunities, things that really have a potential to move, you know. And I think from that perspective, that's how I see myself spending the most time when I'm, of course, I'm always watching the AI, and we're about to bring that in, but I'm constantly just finding myself doing this because you're all of a sudden you're at the outliers, you know. And when you've got the outlier situation going on, I mean, look at this if you're watching this on a 5-minute, right? And again, that is how people watch it. Of course, over here, you know, it's difficult to see like, oh, was it even catchable? But here on this washout and these candles, I mean, had you been watching this because you would have been watching it because this number was so high. It would have been at your attention, and you definitely could have been watching it right here where you would have said, okay, I'm going to have to try it and give it a little bit because what if this thing really runs? That's the opportunities. We want those opportunities to be...
Well, I mean, that chart right there, Dan, also, we'll go back to it real quick.
Sure.
You know, that, you know, where you see that huge candle, that bottoming tail candle right there, that very long one with the, yeah, right there. You can see all the volume start to pick up, and that in real time is what that relative volume and some of our other volume filters are listening for. So you couple that with new high events or some of the other events, and you're going to spot this very, very early on.
And it's like, it's basically saying, had you just focused on ZFGN today, it would have given you plenty. Plenty. You know, and the day was really, almost all of it was positive. You know. So my whole thing is to demonstrate not simply the power but the simplicity. Is that each, you know, level here, from the relative volume column to the position and range column where you're just sorting it on the visuals, you know, and then you start to go into and do a little quick review. You're like, okay, VTL, okay, man, really tried today, pull back, because, I mean, we don't know why, and it doesn't really matter, right? But going back to the people at these, you know, at our webinars, we want you to see the interesting data, right? That's the other reason why you're here. So look at this thing. I mean, this is a beautiful opportunity that looks like it could be waiting to happen. Okay, and it's in the right space, the vital therapies. So Brad, I think this is a good pausing point because then we'll jump right into the AI. I mean,
yeah, I think so. Yeah. Sounds
Scott, do you want to come on in real quick and
Yeah, sure. We can talk about our price scheduling a little bit. Trade Ideas is a software as a service model company. We have monthly and annual plans. The monthly is $99 a month. It includes all your real-time data, the exchange fees, unless you're a professional trader trading other people's money with the Series 7. It includes the charting, and it also has the backtesting oddsmaker free trial. Uh, all of our plans include a free one-on-one hour of power training session. So as soon as you become a subscriber, you need to go to our support page and click on training to schedule one. The annual plan is only $888 a year, so that's quite a bit of savings over the monthly rate. And we have the oddsmaker backtesting tool. The oddsmaker backtests the entire market rather than just looking at a basket of stocks or a specific stock like TradeStation's backtester. It also includes a customized strategy and enables you to customize your own, just like our AI does, except our AI does it a lot faster and saves you all the work. But the good news is the odds maker, if you own that, you get the AI channel and our other new tools, like including RBI and GBI. I'll come on a little bit after the second portion of the webinar and thank everyone for joining us with a way for you to save on getting the odds maker or subscription. Thanks.
Scott, thank you very much. And again, I know a lot of people know all of this already, but we're pretty excited about what's happening, guys. And we just want to make sure that if you want to participate, you're able to do it at a rate that we think, again, is not going to last long. And Brad and I will do a little comedy routine about it towards the end. But Brad, should we jump into the AI just so that everybody knows? We're going to also, of course, save time for question and answer.
Yeah, let's introduce everybody to Holly.
Yes, let's introduce everybody to Holly. So just a quick overview. We had gone over the fact Trade Ideas collects this data. We're a data engine. So we're not just like, getting stuff and then putting a lipstick on it and throwing it out there. We're getting data. We put some new DNA on it, give it some chromosomes, some gene therapy, and create new X-Men Wolverine-type data out of it. And we've been doing this for 10 years. And what we realized is that all of you really want is the answer. And we understand why, because, again, trading is very difficult. So we basically asked ourselves, how do we create our computers to mimic the behavior of a human with the intent of trading the best that they can while minimizing risk? And risk minimizing is basically mostly trading intraday, not holding overnight. So let's talk about this for a little bit so that everyone understands, too, that this is by no means some sort of get-rich-quick, goose laid the golden egg, green light, red light sort of thing. This is nothing of the sort. Those things don't exist, as don't fairies and other mythical creatures like dragons. Also, Brad, anything else that doesn't exist that you're aware of?
No, this is your bailiwick here.
Okay, so we have an engine that uses our odds maker technology, as Scott talked to you about, and our odds maker technology is this technology, and I'm going to minimize this window real quick, Brad, and I'm just going to open this up because I think, again, it's good to give a visual example, So this is, every window you have in Trade Ideas is configurable. So if I hit OK, this is basically a high-low ticker. It's going to give you new highs and new lows, all the columns, you can move them around. So I'm going to change this window, and on the alerts, I'm going to get rid of the lows and make the alerts 5-day highs, and you can see that let's change this to 0.5 just to get more, and 1,000's fine, and average 5-day volume is 100,000. So we're going to call this new 5-day highs. I'm going to hit OK, and I see them now, and if I pull them up, you can kind of see what they look like. What's great about Trade Ideas is you have history, so you can go back and look at the information and see how it would have come through, kind of get a feel for it. I mean, a lot of this stuff happening today. This is what 5-day highs look like just on a chart. on a chart that appears. There we go. Brad, you see how I did that?
I do.
Okay. So these are 5-day highs, and what I want to know is I want to find out, can these 5-day highs be something that I use to trade? Can they be used as a strategy idea to execute? So I can run the odds maker on this, and again, a lot of you know what I'm doing, but for those that don't, I would try to figure out, Brad, how do I have 3:30 in the morning as a start time?
Oh, right. This is because we're on the dev version. It all works fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Is it? Thank you, Brad.
That's 1/2 hour after the open.
Yes. So, so at 4 a.m., which whatever, it's half hour after the open, and then 9 a.m., so 2 hours before the close, right, Brad?
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, this would be in the real version that you would download. This would be your local time.
Yeah, everything would. Yeah, this is. You're seeing. Well, so many people already know, so I'm kind of just taking that for granted. So I'm going to find out if I can hold this, and this 30 minutes is kind of a small time frame, but let's just say all up until half hour before the close. The idea is that if something goes, you want to give it a chance. And so here I hit OK, and here the odds maker is going back into the market, looking every time there's this 5-day high on this much volume, and it's telling me how you would have done if you had purchased it at the first time you saw it and exited half an hour after the close en masse. So here we had 2,995 trades, of which 45% went your way. Your winners were 48 cents and your losers were 40 cents. And it would have taken you just over $500,000 in buying power to do it. So you couldn't have done it with 50,000 starting at equity. Notice it's red. So you could theoretically say something like 400.
Just deposit 350,000, and there you go.
Just pop another 350 in there. But you can see different. You can instantly say here we're also losing 10 cents each way. So we model the real world. So this is the odds maker, and this is how it works. But again, I don't want to spend too much time on it because what the odds maker is telling you is when you basically look at a chart, every idea you've ever had is pretty much wrong. And it's only saying this because, well, listen, pal, of course your idea looks good right here, and maybe it looks good on the next 10 charts. But the problem is what happens when you run into some larger numbers. And what you realize that it's kind of a crapshoot. So this taught us a completely new way of thinking about every visual pattern that we see. So we no longer say, okay, man, this looks like a double bottom, I'm going to get into it. We want to run statistics where whatever it is that we're getting into statistically makes something work. Okay? And what I'm going to do is, so this is an equity curve of a hypothesis or of a base strategy, a base idea. And what you would do then is you would say, okay, I can optimize this, and there's so many different things that you can do here, like time of day. You can figure out, oh look, almost all of my profitable trades, or a lot of them happen in just the first half hour, and you can notice like the different trends and augment your strategy to fit more of what's actually happening. Other filters, like all the different trade ideas filters that you can use, you have the ability to access them and check them. But what we've done is we said, that's tedious work. Okay, and you can do it, but for years people did that. But we created an engine that lives in trade ideas in our server room. And this engine, let me go to my cloud, allows us to automatically, let's see, where did maybe this one? Brad, do you think this one will work?
It looks like it's named properly.
It always does, doesn't it? I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. Run odds maker and simulate, what is this one, a short or simulate sell. And in theory, it will be a whole lot better. And again, this is just, I'm manually showing you what we've completely automated. That strategy probably has not been updated at all. But we created a full server setup where what we do is we look for the best that Trade Ideas has to offer. And I'm going to bring it up right now, and we're showing you, let's see, I don't think I have it up. Okay, new. So this is, okay, so just so that everyone knows, you don't see any of this on your Trade Ideas because I am running a ultra development version of the software. So what this does is these are strategies that have all been started and reworked by the computer, and the computer has figured them out of a base of 25 or so strategy. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 were the top that made it, and it's a combination of it. They need to have a very good win percentage that they've had statistically, profit factor, which is your average winner divided by your average loser, and and we like to see a nice performance gauge on it. So this is kind of like a visual of the daily P&L. So this is the AI channel, and again, it's not out yet because we're still working on some of the P&L, but I'm going to show you what the trades were today, so you can kind of take a look and understand that this is like by far what we are the most excited about. Because this, Brad, so let's talk to them a little bit about deployment and alpha. What were you saying to me about when we might actually put this on something?
Yeah, we're going to have something available either this Friday or Monday. It'll still be an early stage of this development, but if you have odds maker access, you're then going to have visibility into this tool. So you will need to download a newer version. The version's not quite ready yet. And then even once you do that, please continue to upgrade, because we're going to be putting additional features, functions into it, changing a little bit of look and feel on certain components of it. But yeah, this Friday or Monday.
So you're then able to do a little bit of what I'm doing here. You can sort and Brad, you see like some weird thing with the, I mean, just for you to notice something with the time. Because remember, like, that's the sort that I had before, but then, oh, because this is exit time. I'm very funny.
Yeah, sort of.
So we have a lot. We ourselves are still learning how to use our stuff. So okay, so here I'm going to give you kind of like the play-by-play sorted by time. Okay.
Go ahead and fully
Let's make
sort
sure.
it. I don't think it's sorted, Dan.
Isn't it by entry time at the
Yeah,
top?
but if you scroll down, I can see where it's not really fully sorted.
How about now?
There you go. Yep.
Okay. So is everyone able to see, for example, my screen and the two charts? Everything still, Brad, everything visible?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the things, and I'm going to really kind of make the daily a little bit smaller, because I think you see most of everything you need to see on the intraday. So we started the day, let me entry time. Okay. This is West Coast, and again, it'll be in your proper time zone. So we started with an LTPRA short, so you can see the entry time, the exit price. There's also a smart stop column. So for every single stock, we have what's called a smart stop, which tells you, based on the stock's volatility and its range, where is like the statistical point to get out. And notice it's different for every single one, although that isn't exactly how the P&L is calculated yet. But we're showing you guys work in progress, which no other companies do. So this one was a big gap up, and it went short here because it thought that it was going to continue to go lower, but it ended up going higher, and it was a small loser at 91 cents. Then the software went short FEYE again. So remember, guys, all of these, this is all software's brain. There's no human involvement. The picking of the stock, the strategies, the direction, everything is happening completely by the software. So here, shorts, and notice you can see the entry prices in blue. And again, we're going to improve a lot of this graphically, but just so you know, the stop price is in red right here. the entry price is in blue right here, and the current price is in green. That's how it works. So it had a really nice trade here, had a similar nice trade in BITA. Then KMI was an interesting one because even though it was stopped out, you definitely had a lot of opportunities. And again, and that's part of what's fun about watching the AI trade. I mean, you got in here and it dropped all the way down here, and you had some time to, to sit there and think about it. So you can do so much interaction with it. NVRO, another.
Yeah, that one was actually triggered in 2 different strategies that we had.
Different strategies, and both of them made money. One morning one, and then one where you held all day. Well, that's the other thing too, is that the software it's constantly attempting to quantitatively go into the path of least resistance, and this is what we're by far the most excited about. I mean, guys, there's just no technology like this that exists on the planet. There isn't. And this is just the beginning, because I was kind of like, so Brad and I explained, so this is what's probably going to be out there in the alpha version. So these windows, I'm going to bring back, Brad, this one real quick. So here you kind of can see, this, by the way, this negative 17 points in this P&L, that's not an accurate number. It actually did well, but we're trying to fix one of the bugs in how we calculate stop losses. So again, still it's continuing to perform. People are watching it in our chat room, where Barry Anderson, who's like our god of moderating and trading, we pray to him. Barry's an amazing asset, because he not only shows people what to do and helps them with trade ideas, but he's also kind of giving you a glimpse of the AI channel, and also giving you a little bit of his own human play-by-play. It's like the best of all worlds, because it's like Madden with watching a football game. It sure is nice having Barry's commentary helping you along. So you have this complete path. These strategies all being selected. You can see the total profit per strategy. So again, even though this isn't correct, but you have this short breakdown hold, you'll have a number for it.
It's interesting, Dan. Should probably point out, this is obviously after market, and during the market, this is going to be giving you real-time calculations of each strategy. So this is your window that you're going to be looking at to choose which strategy you want to participate in.
That's a very good point.
It's going to be giving you that real-time data.
Yeah, so you're going to be like, oh, okay, the opening range breakdowns are really kicking butt today, and you can see what was in them, and again, just gravitate. And the funny thing too is that this is where the human actually is really good. Once you understand what the AI was doing, well, you can take a look at a stock, and see if there's potential for maybe something else. You can always trade around too. If the AI was wrong, maybe you can, go the other way. and that's the thing that we will be allowing you to do once we actually bring our brokerage plus OMS and to the AI, which is all happening. I mean, guys, Brad, like I said, I really don't even know how to put it in words, because we've created like this living, breathing, thinking system that is out there trying to find the best statistical advantage of supply and demand. It's that simple. There's no like magic Bollinger Bands. Everything keeps changing, as it should. How many longs and how many shorts. I keep always talking about how understated this little thing is itself, that by virtue of what's winning the most or the least, and
hey,
how
Dan,
this is all.
Why don't let's cut over to Scott in a minute or two. But before we do that, do you have access to the Brokerage Plus component up there?
I believe I do.
And I think this is just kind of ties it all together with respect to being able to manually generate ideas and pull up charts and look at things, to having the AI automatically create strategies for you, to being able to automatically execute those strategies. And that's really the last component of this. This is our Brokerage Plus tool that allows you to take a strategy, drop it in, and then automate that strategy based on your instructions that you put into it.
And be able to see the P&L of the strategy and be able to work around the strategy. I mean, you guys seeing it? This is all happening before your eyes. The next generation of the way you interact with market data is not like sitting there poring over statements. It's basically managing the P&L of your robotics, which is exactly what we had said on our website many years ago about being the CEO of your financial empire. Okay, so I want to address two, Brad. I know I want to ask. I want to get to the Q&A. I'm sure there's going to be tons of questions. I want to address one thing, and that's about availability. So at Trade Ideas, we like to believe that we're fairly intelligent guys. So when we were coming up with this and when we were looking at it, we thought that there could be something special here. And so we've gotten a little bit of like outside advice on what we're doing and how we're doing it. And the thing that they've told us is that it's very possible that we are grossly underpricing what we're doing. And I know it sounds hokey, but honestly, I mean, if you look around the marketplace, you look at Invis and StockFetcher and some of the stuff, well, actually, you can compare it to Advanced Get. That's more on the lines of what we're talking about. They're saying that something like this, that's real artificial intelligence, and they've seen what we're doing and how it's doing it. They're like, you could be by a factor of 5. So that is why we've put out this thing where we said there's only going to be since we've brought this up, there's only going to be an additional 1,000 people that are going to have access to this AI channel the way you see it for the price that we're offering, that special that Scott's going to go over. That number was capped at 1,000, and we are at 698. So I mean, there's still plenty of spaces left. It's not like that may not happen until the end of the year. But I don't know. But we said we're just going to limit it because we don't want to make that mistake. I mean, we know a lot of people sell products at a lot of different prices, and we really do believe that every single person that trades actively or actively invests or interacts with a brokerage is going to want to have this technology. I don't know how they couldn't. I mean, that's, to me, Brad, that's how cool all that is.
So let me address a couple questions that just came through specific here to Brokerage Plus, Dan, since it's on your screen. And I've got a lot of interest in this tool for IB, and we are talking with IB right now, and we have done a good portion of the development with respect to the automation. So we hope to have something in addition to Lightspeed with IB by the end of the year. So right now, automating your strategies can be done through Lightspeed Brokerage. So if you open up an account with Lightspeed, you can then automate those strategies with Brokerage Plus.
I think we're really, Brad, I mean, we're going to be taking this whole Brokerage Plus to another level. We had kind of deployed it out with Lightspeed for several years, and for whatever reasons, it was not catching on with the way that it was being put out there. And I think a lot of it had to do with, well, what the hell do we trade? I mean, that's the question all of us keep asking, right? Well, our artificial intelligence engine completely answers that. And because you're going to have that visual interactivity of, what your P&L is doing and where it's coming from and how you can interact with it, we really do think that this is it. This is the Google Navigate versus your, AAA fold-out map.
Yeah, Brad, this is David. I've been lurking a little bit,
Oh,
this,
Jesus.
but I wanted to make a point. There's been a lot of questions, and I'm the executive board in charge of our enterprise licensing. So there's questions that come through about when will E-Trade have AI and waiting for the Brokerage Plus for IB. I want to make the point that I can't emphasize enough how much that our enterprise partners listen to customers. And so if there's a request, if there's ever a call made to their email or to their customer service centers, they record those and they tally them and they send them to the decision makers. And that only helps B, and that helps us, bring this technology to their attention. So I've given out the customer support number for E-Trade, but I'll do it also for IB. If you want to see this technology, and even outside of our current partnerships, ask to see this, demand this technology, and it can happen. It definitely will happen if they do listen.
That's a very good point, Dave. I mean, I agree 100%. The more engaged you are and the more vocal you are, the more the big brokerages listen. But I actually believe, Dave, that they're going to hear about it whether they want to or not, because this is the kind of the singularity type, tech in financial technology as it relates to people. I mean, there could be some hedge funds doing some magic with their HFT arbitrage systems, but that's in fairy tale land. As far as intelligent, capital allocation, statistical speculation, I mean, these words should not be shunned. This is what we're doing here. This is intelligent speculation and allocation of your capital. You're helping create a better price. That is partly what we are trying to do. We're trying to even out the inefficiencies in supply and demand. Brad, let's answer some more questions. So let's see, Pete. If you shoot an email to info@trade-ideas.com, we can tell you. I mean, the AI channel is one of our channels that's right here. It's going to go live right now. There's really nothing to it. It's kind of like a placeholder, but for everyone that has access to our odds maker, and I want to kind of rephrase what Scott was saying. So the odds maker is not just our backtesting tool. I mean, the odds maker was that, but really now the odds maker is the gateway to our data mining. So we have a lot of technology that we're putting out now that is really designed specifically to have been mined statistically by our engine. So instead of like giving you nuts and bolts and saying build it, we're giving you the really custom furniture, the European style, decor, the things that are really nice. And it's a question of how we take advantage of it.
So Dan, Carl's asking a question here, and he's curious what the recent performance shows in the AI window. And the recent performance is really, if you can highlight that column in the AI strategy window up at the top, to the left. It's that grid. A little more, right there.
This?
To your left, one more.
Performance. Okay.
Yeah, so that recent performance, what it's doing is giving you that calendar heat map of an odds maker run. So if you were to run the odds maker on any of those strategies, each one of those little blocks would represent a day, and that's just giving you a colored gradient based on the profitability of that particular day.
So what they're doing is, this is the end result of your calendar heat map, like Brad had said. So like I personally would have liked to have seen a little bit more green here versus here, but again, statistics are what they are. You get the best that you can get. Let's see.
All right, Mike has a question for you, Dan. Last one.
Mike, great question. It's one of the things that we're discussing in our priorities meeting. It's coming pretty soon. And again, I don't know exactly when, because we've been so focused on the AI, and that really is to us the most important thing for everyone, because this is really a chance that nobody before this has had. I mean, this is a computer that's trying to trade for you, that's using the deepest database of data available in today's market. Nobody's got a one that can compete with us there. And again, and the fact that it's doing that all in real time, this is the time to focus on that to take advantage of it. The limit alerts are important, by the way, and we actually think there's some really cool stuff that you can do with them as it relates to the AI. And Brad, one of the things I was saying is, imagine that you enter a trade, you get stopped out, but then you can tell the system to place a limit alert right below your entry price. So in case the stock goes back to where you were originally in that position, that's a beautiful way to kind of keep yourself reminded that, oh, you know what I was doing before maybe still makes sense. a lot of times, I know I myself just completely forget about it. You know, you
Yeah.
see something, you're like, okay, and then you get out, you forget, and then there's like another 30 points in there. So all of that will be put together, no question. Let's see here. So Steve, Fidelity and Trade Ideas are not linked in any way, shape, or form. They don't seem to think that their customers need trade ideas. Maybe you could let them know. Although I'm sure their salespeople will let them know soon enough.
So kind of a repetitive answer here for Fareed. He was asking when we're going to be releasing the AI channel. So in case you missed it, that'll be available this Friday or Monday.
Yeah, and so there's a couple of things. So I'm going to show you some more. I'm going to show you some more parts of what was just recently added to. So this is the AI strategies, right? And it's giving you a summary of what's going on with all the strategies. So when you see like a symbol here, and you see the P&L, they're not associated to just the symbol. The P&L is kind of like, you know, maybe over here. The symbol just happens to be the last symbol, and then you can see, you know, the win percentage today. Again, if you wanted more detail on the stock, you can see its signal price. There's just a lot more information in terms of, you can see what it's doing on a per trade basis, average profit or loss per trade. Let's see, there's some more. Oh, trades today. So that's also very important. So I'm just kind of putting together maybe like a hypothetical view so you could see what's going on. So you have 21 trades in this short strategy. You had 16 in this short one, one in the long here, one in the long here. So you can then start to see, like, you know, where did you do worse or where did you do better? So again, remember how I was showing you how I navigate the top list? Well, you're going to get to do that same thing with the AI strategies. And again, we're also bringing out technology that's going to, some AI that actually helps you to pick which AI signal might work. I mean, it's completely crazy. So, guys, I'm going to hand it over to Scott. It's been a pleasure showing you this. I mean, this is right out of the oven, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's something that we don't see a lot of companies doing, but we love showcasing what we're up to because we think this is the best tech in finance. And we're going to make it better and more beautiful and ultimately, hopefully, completely, you know, deliver on the promise of helping you be more successful. That is what we are the most passionate about. Scott's going to give you an opportunity to purchase this tech, and remember, just so that if I don't want to be talking to the guys, you know, after the 698 people come through and be like, come on, why not me? We're just warning you that because of what we said and because of the pricing that we put in and because of how much it could go up, there is just 698 more people that are going to be coming through with the 1088 possibility. So, Scott, I'm going to give it to you. Take it away.
Yeah, hey, why don't you go ahead and park it on that slide with the promo code. And something we like to do to thank you all for coming and spending your time with us here at these webinars is offer a way for you to save money if you're not currently using our services or don't currently have a portion of our service like the odds maker. You see a code there, and if you actually direct your attention to the handouts panel on your GoToWebinar console, you can download a PDF with the same code on it as a reminder. It's active until this Friday, and it'll let you save half off your first month, 20% off the first year, or 30% off the oddsmaker license. So you can get that oddsmaker, which is required for the AI channel, for only $770 lifetime. It's a big savings over the $1,100 and gets you ready for the AI debut in the next couple of weeks. Annual is great to switch to if you're already a monthly subscriber, or if you're ready to jump in, annual is the best way to go, and you can get a year here for just $710 the first year. For those of you that really understand the value of trade ideas, or existing clients that are on monthly and want to upgrade into the odds maker and the annual plan, we have a package that is only $1088. And you can go to the next slide there, Dan, and show them the link for that. This link is also in that PDF you can download from the handouts panel. You go to that, bit.ly/capital SABE 900. What that does is take you to a page where you can click through to order an entire year of trade ideas, which is $888, a lifetime odds maker license, which is $1,100, and the custom strategy, which is a $250 value. You get that all for $1088. So it saves you over $900 right away. If you're already a subscriber on the monthly plan, just purchase this and then send an email to info@tradeIdeas.com to let us know you did it, and we'll make sure everything's set up in your account correctly. Again, thanks everyone for coming. Take advantage of this offer before it ends. This combination offer will go away shortly following the AI debut, as Dan kind of mentioned. Again, thanks everyone for attending. Contact us at email us at info@tradeIdeas.com if you have any questions. You can follow Dan on Twitter at TradeIdeas1.com. You can follow Trade Ideas at Trade Ideas. Like us on Facebook. We sometimes post some different things to the Facebook page. It's /Trade Ideas Pro is the official one. Give us a phone call if you have a direct question during normal operating hours. We should be able to get back to you within a few minutes. Again, thanks everyone. Have a good one. See you next week.